In today's video, we'll be designing Sonic Unleashed in LEGO. I'll be creating a custom werehog design and one of the most iconic egg-themed contraptions, the Egg Dragoon. Not the mech dragon, that's a different dragon-themed contraption with the intent to kill a mangy hedgehog. No, this is the Egg Dragoon with 2 O's. Let's get started. Alright, so Sonic Unleashed came out in 2008, and it's the 5th episode in the running series where I build every Sonic the Hedgehog game. Yes, every single one. You should check out what I've already done in the iCard above, plus maybe subscribe to me so you can see the next episode. What should I build next? Y'all really wanted Sonic Unleashed, but there isn't a universal game in second place, so let me know in the comments. To kick off the build, I laid out a platform of plates to work with. Already you might notice something different, usually as in the last 4 episodes. I use 1 layer of plates and then tile it off. But this time I have a layer of plates, a single brick layer, and then tiles. And well, that's because of this. After learning the hard way that transporting leads to breakage, I'm adapting in the hopes of not repeating my mistakes. I have to ship them to Chicago. I'm filling in the guts of the platform with random colored bricks, using the same mindset that LEGO designers do. You know, when they place random pink bricks inside a tank or something. While Time-Lapse Aaron works on the platform, Shill Aaron is going to tell you about today's sponsor. When Saber approached me with a sponsorship opportunity, I was intrigued, but as soon as they showed me this product, I was completely sold. Guys, they have a lightsaber replica of LEGO's iconic lightsaber element. Saber was kind enough to send over their XRGB 3.0 silver 28-inch model of their saber, so let's unbox it and show it off. Off the bat, the package job is really strong. It was being shipped from China, so I was a bit worried that something would break, but clearly that thought was unfounded. Everything is packaged neatly, and after putting it together, I took it outside. This thing looks so slick and does a great job of recreating its source material. They also have an app that helps customize the Saber settings via Bluetooth. After connecting it, you're welcomed with several buttons to activate various effects. A different font, which is basically different modes representing Star Wars characters, but my favorite is this one, the Dark Saber, because of how cool the sounds are. Guys, this product is sick. I don't need to sell you on it. I asked my good friend and biggest Star Wars fan I know, and he gave it a big thumbs up, so go to the link in the description so you can get your own. They have a sale going, unless I took way too long getting this video out, but I can't thank them enough for sponsoring today's video. We have a long way to go for today's build, so let's hit the ground running.
And now for something completely different.
This build will have 4 main segments: the floor, which I'm currently working on, the back wall, the round platform for Sonic to stand on, and the part I'm most scared of, the Egg Dragoon. I did build the chest area of the mech to get an idea of the scale I'll be using, and in this time lapse you can see the first version of the platform. It was a tad too small and way too fragile, so I trashed it and started fresh. The second version uses hinged plates to create a circle of angled plates, a common technique but not one that I've used before, so it was fun to experiment with. After finishing the second version of the platform, I continued to work on the Egg Dragoon with the hopes of finishing it first. I think the way I approach LEGO builds is the same way I approach homework. I spend 6+ hours working on it non-stop without breaks, and then I squint my eyes and stare at it hard to try to decide if what I've produced is of any value to this world. And to my professors watching this, I have a healthy work-school life balance, and this is satirical. And to my fellow students out there that relate, you are seen. Rise up, let's take over Denmark or something. The LEGO house is a valuable resource. After getting more of the mech done, I returned to the platform to give it some extra detail, adding some dark gray segments, exposed studs for some fire, and redoing the circular base that holds it up. Next, let's start on the backdrop. Because of the age of the game, combined with the pace of this level, it was really hard to get a good idea of what this part would look like. Almost as if the protagonist has gotta go fast. Yeah, I'll let myself out.
I used a lot of creative liberties, but used the same color palette utilized in the game. Ultimately, I like how it's shaping up. Wow, I'm so good at building. I owe it all to Claire's creations. You should follow her.
Anyway, time-lapse me just finished building, so let's take a look. This build turned out great. Sonic Unleashed is such a unique game. There's a generation of people that view it as one of the best 3D Sonic games, and while I'm not one of those people, I do enjoy the game, and the comic line that retells the Werehog arc is pretty sick. I'm slowly becoming more comfortable with building mechs. The Egg Dragoon was a scary challenge, and when I first committed to this project, I was terrified. But the end result is cool, if not a little tall. I'm not sure if the proportions are off, but regardless, all the moving parts came together nicely. Speaking of, let's address the elephant penguin in the room. Where's the Werehog? Well, I designed one for the build. Here it is. I like how it turned out, and I went through several versions before landing on this one, but it's not proportional to the rest of the build, and I just couldn't get it any smaller. So I could either throw out the build entirely or keep it as a little Easter egg, but use the normal Sonic minifigure. Some of the Chowlug has created their version of the Chad, and those look great, but I don't have the parts to do it. Plus, when I display this thing at conventions, kids are more likely to go, "Ooh, Sonic," not, "Ooh, Werehog game that came out before I was born." Kids are dumb. That's also satirical. They're my target audience. Anyway, moving on, the wall segment I created looks so good. The color I'm utilizing pairs so well together, and I need to order more orangish tan because it's becoming one of my favorite colors. I placed different tech builds throughout the wall to break it up a bit, and then layered it with dark gray tiles, giving it some much needed texture. This build uses a lot of these 1x2 textured bricks, and I don't use them very often before now, but they do a great job of establishing an industry aesthetic. I'm glad I already found a use for this element. I've placed them here to show projectiles coming from the Egg Dragoon. In a pab wall, I also found a bunch of these transparent elements, and those are paying off too. I'm utilizing them to hold up the mech. It was still fragile, so I added these transparent beams in the back to keep it from tipping over. Since the series is proving to be popular and I needed to stock up, I bought 30 Sonic rings for future builds. I know it'll come in handy, I've already used them, and I placed them around the circumference of the platform. I mean, we have to look at the Egg Dragoon. This looks sick, guys. I'm really happy with how it turned out. For this portion I used a form of backwards building, basically starting with the easiest parts and then tackling the hardest parts as I go. And I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. I started with the body, and then I built the cockpit and the arms, and then finally I built the little leg things that it has, and then the lower body torso that it has. Thankfully it's minifigure scale, so Eggman is sitting up top controlling this beast. We have two arms, one with a gun attachment and one with a drill attachment, and there aren't wings because that doesn't come out until his second stage right here. I know this exists though, and I even save a spot for where they could be connected if I use this mech for a future game. Thanks again to Saber for sponsoring this video and being patient with my crazy schedule. Check out their site and get your own Lego Saber or a different Saber, you know, I don't control your spending habits. Well, that's all I have to say. Big thank you to the two members of this channel, Blackery Smalls and Blazin' Bricks. You guys are amazing, and thank you for your support, and keep on inspiring. Bye!